Chapter 9, Part 4, Language Development. According to linguist Noam Chomsky, children are born with a biological predisposition to learn language. That is, they possess what he calls a universal grammar, a basic understanding of the common principles of language organization. At birth, infants can distinguish among the speech sounds of all the world's languages. By 10 months, they distinguish only the speech sounds that are present in the language to which they have been exposed. Encouraging language development, motherese. Good baby, sweet baby. People in every culture use a style of speech called motherese, or infant-directed speech with babies. Motherese is characterized by distinct pronunciation, a simplified vocabulary, short sentences, a high pitch, and exaggerated intonation and expression. The cooing and babbling stage of language development. In virtually every culture, infants follow the same sequence of language development, and at roughly similar ages. At about 3 months of age, the infant begins to coo. At about 5 months of age, the infant begins to babble, ba 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 ba. Infants all over the world use the same sounds when they babble. At around 9 months of age, babies begin to babble more in the sounds specific to their language. Babbling seems to be a biologically programmed stage of language development. The one-word stage of language development. Long before babies become accomplished talkers, they understand much of what has been said to them. Thus, they have a comprehension vocabulary, the words they understand, which is much larger than their production vocabulary, the words they can say. Around their first birthday, infants produce their first real words, usually referring to concrete objects or people that are important to them. During the one-word stage, babies use an entire word and vocal intonation to stand for an entire sentence. No! The two-word stage of language development. Around their second birthday, infants begin putting words together to construct simple sentences. These utterances include only the most essential words, but basically follow a grammatically correct sequence. Where, kitty? No potty. Children move beyond the two-word stage at around 2.5 years of age. Language production and comprehension increase dramatically thereafter. Children may have a production vocabulary of over 10,000 words by school age. Gender role development terminology. Gender refers to the cultural and social meanings that are associated with maleness and femaleness. Gender roles are the behaviors, attitudes, and traits that a given culture associates with masculinity and femininity. Gender identity refers to a person's psychological sense of being either male or female. Gender differences in childhood behavior. Between ages 2 and 3, children can identify themselves and other children as boys or girls. From 18 months to 2 years of age, sex differences in behavior begin to emerge. Toddler girls play more with soft toys and dolls and ask for help from adults more. Toddler boys play more with blocks and transportation toys like trucks and wagons and play more actively. From age 3 on, there are consistent differences in preferred toys and play activities. From preschool age to the remainder of childhood, boys and girls play primarily with members of their own sex. Children are far more rigid than adults in their beliefs in gender role stereotypes. Explaining gender roles, 2 contemporary theories. Social learning theory is the theory that gender roles are learned through reinforcement, punishment, and modeling. Gender schema theory, developed by Sandra Bem, contends that children actively develop mental categories or schemas for masculinity and femininity. Gender schemas influence how people pay attention to, perceive, interpret, and remember gender-relevant behavior. Cognitive development. The most influential theory of cognitive development is that of Swiss psychologist Jean Piaget, who believed that children actively try to make sense of their environment rather than passively soaking up information about the world. According to Piaget, children progress through 4 distinct cognitive stages: the sensory motor stage, the pre-operational stage, the concrete operational stage, and the formal operational stage. As a child advances to a new stage, his thinking is qualitatively different from that of the previous stage. Each new stage represents a fundamental shift in how the child thinks and understands the world. As children assimilate new information and experiences, they eventually change their way of thinking to accommodate new knowledge. According to Piaget, the sequence of stages is universal, but heredity and environment can influence the rate at which children progress through the stages. The sensory motor stage. During the sensory motor stage, infants acquire knowledge about the world through actions that allow them to directly experience and manipulate objects. Infants gradually acquire object permanence, the understanding that an object continues to exist even if it can't be seen. As they gain experience with objects, as their memory abilities improve, and as they develop mental representations of the world, which Piaget called schemas. The pre-operational stage, age 2 to age 7. In Piaget's theory, the word operations refers to logical mental activities. Thus, the pre-operational stage is a pre-logical stage. The thinking of pre-operational children is categorized by a number of items. Symbolic thought, which refers to the ability to use words, images, and symbols to represent the world. Egocentrism, which is the inability to take another person's perspective or point of view. Irreversibility, which means that the child cannot mentally reverse a sequence of events or logical operations back to the starting point. Centration refers to the tendency to focus or center on only one aspect of a situation, usually a perceptual aspect, and to ignore other relevant aspects of the situation. The inability to understand conservation, the understanding that 2 equal quantities remain equal even if the appearance of one is changed, as long as nothing is added or subtracted. The concrete operational stage is from age 7 to age 11, and it is characterized by the ability to think logically about concrete objects and situations. The formal operational stage, adolescence into adulthood, is characterized by the ability to think logically about abstract principles and hypothetical situations. Generally, scientific research has supported Piaget's most fundamental idea that infants, young children, and older children use distinctly different cognitive abilities to construct their understanding of the world. Other aspects of Piaget's theory have been criticized. Piaget underestimated the cognitive abilities of infants and young children. Piaget underestimated the impact of the social and cultural environment on cognitive development. Russian psychologist Lev Vygotsky believed that cognitive development is strongly influenced by social and cultural factors, such as the support and guidance that children receive from parents, other adults, and older children. His zone of proximal development refers to the gap between what children can accomplish on their own and what they can accomplish with the help of more competent others. Piaget overestimated the degree to which people achieve formal operational thought processes. Researchers have found that many adults display abstract hypothetical thinking only in limited areas of knowledge, and that some adults never display formal operational thought processes. Some developmental psychologists emphasize the information processing model of cognitive development, which focuses on the development of fundamental processes such as attention, memory, and problem solving. They view cognitive development as a process of continuous change over the lifespan that is influenced by life experiences. This ends Chapter 9, Part 4.